Joining me now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, thank you so much for being here this evening. So does Joe Biden and his administration, do they have it right, or could they use a refresher on, I don't know, constitutional law 101?
Well, I thought the fact that the president referred to the Second Amendment as a phony argument, I believe were his words, Pete, just shows you that in his mind, the Second Amendment's a phony amendment. I mean, he doesn't believe it's actually in the Constitution. Yes. He clearly does not believe in the right to keep and bear arms. What boggles my mind is these liberals seem fine with criminals out on the streets having all the firearms they want. They're fine with rioting. They're fine with violence, so long as it's done by criminals. But when law-abiding citizens want to own a firearm legally, as the Second Amendment guarantees, then they completely lose their minds. And that's what Biden is proposing to crack down on now. These are law-abiding citizens whose rights he wants to take away. The criminals, you know, go and do whatever you want. But law-abiding citizens, they're the ones. It's exactly backwards.
It is always exactly backwards for the left. They never get the basic equation you just laid out. But here's another angle. Joe Biden, he tried to make it sound like his gun grab will solve all of America's problems. Listen to this.
Today we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis. For a fraction of the cost of gun violence, we can save lives, create safe and healthy communities, and build economies that work for all of us.
Senator, this must feel like deja vu for you. So it's a COVID bill that's not really about COVID. It's an infrastructure bill that's not really about infrastructure. And now it's a gun bill that's about a public health crisis or safe and healthy community. Help me out. What are they really trying to do?
Well, this is really about confiscating weapons. I mean, this is what the left has wanted to do for a long time. This is what half the presidential candidates or more on the Democrat side ran on just a year ago in their primaries. And at the end of the day, the only way to make work what Biden and the others want to do and the legislation they propose is to have a national gun registry and ultimately to take away firearms from law-abiding citizens. That is where this is headed. That's what many of them have been open. Many Democrats have been open about wanting to do. His anti-gun activist, who he's trying to put at the ATF, that's what he wants to do. So this is where it's headed. And can I just, by the way, say that this idea that somehow cracking down on the Second Amendment is going to help revitalize economic prospects for the working class. This from Joe Biden, the guy who has presided over millions of jobs going to China, who has thought that that's a great deal, whose economic policies and the Obama-Biden administration hollowed out the working class. And now he says, if I take away your right to bear arms, that'll be good for you economically? I mean, it's just, this is insanity.
Well, in addition to taking away your pipelines, I'm going to take away your pistols, too. It'll all go well for you. Don't worry about that. It's all good. Senator, I got to ask you, though, because you've talked a lot about what's happened down in Georgia, the way in which Major League Baseball and other woke corporations have rallied behind the sort of calls of racism, Jim Crow 2.0 from Joe Biden. You've called for them to be busted up. Well, what needs to happen when it comes to election integrity and the way in which big corporations are ganging up to get their way?
Well, you know, what's happening in Georgia is what they tried to do for those of us who stood up for election integrity back in January. Anyone who has said that our elections need to be free, they need to be fair, we need to consider election reform, they try to cancel you. And now the woke corporations are trying to do the same thing to Georgia, and they're going to try to do it to anybody, any state, any person who stands up for election integrity. And when it comes to these corporations, they've gotten big and powerful because government has helped them, government has subsidized them, and government has looked the other way. And it's time to bust them up. I mean, listen, Republicans used to be the party of trust busting. We believe in free competition. We believe in robust competition. We don't believe in protecting monopolies. And we certainly don't believe in a bunch of woke corporatists running this country. And that's what these corporations want. They want to run the country, tell you what to think, tell you what to do. We can't allow that.
Man, absolute unchecked power. And for too long, as you pointed out, better than anybody, it's been the Republican Party that's been complacent when it comes to corporations because we thought they were our friend, and it turns out the boardrooms have a quite different view. Senator Josh Hawley, thank you so much. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.